Good morning, everyone, and happy Father's Day to everyone who is a father or had a father. Our music, the 360 band.
All I really need is a song in my heart, food in my belly, and love in my family. Oh, all I really need is a song in my heart, oh, love in my family. And I need the rain to fall, oh, and I need the sun to shine, to give life to the seeds we sow, give the food we need to grow. Oh, all I really need is a song in my heart, love in my family. Here we go. Woo! All I really need is a song in my heart, food in my belly, and love in my family. Oh, all I really need is a song in my heart, love in my family. And I need some clean water for drinking, oh yeah. And I need some clean air for breathing and singing, so that I can grow tall, take my place where I belong. All I really need is a song in my heart, love in my family. That's all I really need is a song in my heart, food in my belly, and love in my family. Oh, all I really need is a song in my heart, love in my family. Oh yes, love in my family. Love in all my families.
Great way to start out the morning. Thank you. That was really good. Thank you. Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. Mary Mitchell, and I'm a staff minister here. And Reverend Sue is at home. You'll see her up here in a few minutes, but she didn't feel up to coming in today, so we're going to handle it. And I want to welcome you to this center where we inspire and empower people to live spiritually fulfilling lives. And we're getting on with a whole new array of classes this summer and fall, so take advantage of those because they are very empowering, very empowering. We're going to welcome the children to the stage, and Lindy's going to pan the camera so you can turn around and wave to people all around the world. And if the children would come up. Wonderful. Well, I'd like to thank everyone who came early this morning. Lindy's on audio-visual as usual. She's so reliable. And our board member is Linda Mitchell. Good morning, Linda. And our children's church teachers just went out there, and our kitchen cookies, the McQuistons and others who helped them. We are so grateful for that. Now I see Do you want to be invited up? Oh, well, come on in.
Oh, you're supposed to serve, though. You're supposed to serve. Oh, excuse me. So, we just want to say good morning, and we're inviting everybody. You know, the social hall is now open, and we are promoting potluck on the fourth Sunday of the month. So we want to invite everybody to join in. We have, every week we have things you can help do if you would like. There's jobs, bring food, share food, whatever you'd like. And the social hall is really important because you get to meet new people. You can catch up with old people, your old friends. And, you know, I think the first person we ever talked to here was Joanne, and that was in the social hall. And we're still talking. And I think she's, I don't see Joanne this morning.
Sunday, be there.
There you go. So, and here's a couple of kitchen cookies who always come and help. And Judy.
Hi, everyone. For me, it's all about community. It's a wonderful way to participate in community, to have community in the kitchen, and then to feed community. And food is just preparing food for others is just so much fun. So please come and join us.
Bill, when you said you wanted to say what?
Sunday, be there. All other social halls are no big deal.
Thank you. We'll see you in the social hall.
This is one of those anything can happen days. This was last minute for me to be here, so. All right, if you have any electronic devices that would go off, like cell phones, we'd appreciate it if you would put them in some other mode. That would be great. And if you're new with us today, we have a wonderful friendship packet. If anyone wants to raise their hand. No? Friendship packet ain't a one? Two? Oh, they did? Okay, great. Was that a cell phone I just heard? That's always so embarrassing. You know, a few years ago, when cell phones were fairly new, it was probably a long time ago, Sue mentioned that, please turn them off, and someone's went off, and she went out in the audience and grabbed their cell phone. We got hysterical laughing, just hysterical. He did get it back, though. The bookstore is closed on Monday, June 20th, for the celebration of Juneteenth holiday. And the SOAR group, they've been having a challenge going to Ferry Falls because of the weather, but it's now scheduled for Saturday, June 25th. And please contact Cher if you have any questions. On June 26th, the last Sunday of the month, Reverend Sue does a visioning out in the meditation pavilion at 9 o'clock, if you would like to join her for that. And on starting Wednesday, June 29th, from 3 to 5, Reverend Sue will be doing spiritual principles and practices. I think that's an 8-week class. I've given it before. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. All right, and Friendship Sunday, it's going to be the last Sunday of the month so that we don't, what Sunday is this, kind of a question. So it'll be the last Sunday. And a fun potluck, because I know all of us love to eat. And if we bring our favorite dish, wouldn't that be fun? All right, we have a reading. Oh, one more announcement. We have some certificates. We keep saying that's a certificated class. And when people finish it, they actually get a certificate, which is wonderful. So I'd like to invite Judy Carmy. Oh, she's in the kitchen. Doug, can you go get her out of the kitchen? Judy, thank you. And Rich Carey, one of the fathers of the day, his 2 daughters are here and surprised him. That's so sweet. And Rich Carey again. And Stephen Smith. All right, Stephen. And Robert Ward. Judy, you get a certificate for the Essential Ernest Holmes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Rich for the Power of Decision. and Rich for Essential Earnest Holmes.
Thank you.
And Rich, he's a real study guy. The Journey of the Soul.
All right.
Yeah, good job. And Stephen, Essential Earnest Holmes. And Robert Ward, we'll mail this to him. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you. In order to even begin to take prayer practitioner training, you have to take 6 prerequisite courses, and these are part of that. And I think Rich is looking forward to that, taking that practitioner training this fall. All right, certificates. And we have a reading. Oh, come on up. I forgot who I asked to do that. I thought, oh, what happened to my reading? Kelly.
Good morning. This is a statement by Mark Twain. When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years. And then David White, in his book Consolations, parenthood is a timeless test of courage and alignment. To be a new father or mother and live up to and into the overwhelming power and helplessness of that new love is to be heartfelt, to be courageous. And this is by an anonymous basketball player, coach, and broadcaster. My father gave me the greatest gift anyone could give another person. He believed in me. That's a good one. And then Reverend Scott Aubrey. We have the opportunity to honor our fathers this Sunday, recognizing the masculine dimension within all of us is a representation of spirit as the source of our material needs. Fatherhood is a symbol of the goodness and integrity of life. And Father's Day is an opportunity to share these divine attributes with others, to consciously live with the sense of spirit at the very center of our being.
We remember on this day that God is all there is, and we are part of that. We have been created by that infinite intelligence, full of love. And on this day, Father's Day, we are full of love. For fathers that are with us now or have passed on, for fathers that are just a memory, we send our love. Whether it was pristine, perfect, and wonderful or difficult, we send our love. Because we all do the best we can at any moment in time. And so we send our love. So thank you, fathers, of all kinds, for what you've done and what in your mind you have done. And we send you our love and are grateful. And so it is. Oh, who's playing? It says music. Oh, it says Sunday talk. I'm sorry. turn the lights out? Yeah.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am Reverend Sue, talking from my home today to be a good steward of everyone's health. And we're talking about the rest of the story as we continue through this month about the everyday wonder, looking at our body. And the topic this week is the body remembers. And there's this beautiful quote from Felicia Rashad, and she said, "Everything you do, every thought you have, every word you say creates a memory that you hold in your body. It's imprinted on you and affects you in subtle ways, ways that you are not always aware of. So with that in mind, be very conscious and very aware and very selective." In other words, Deepak Chopra adds to that, our body is the place that our memories and dreams call home for the time being. So today, this beautiful understanding of our philosophy of the science of mind is how we're connected, as you know, to body, mind, and spirit. But what we're exploring today is about how the body remembers, what's going on with that. We're able to understand more and more about our own nature when we really grasp how important this is, learning to see what we've been holding on to, what we've forgotten, what we have forgotten about, but then randomly, out of nowhere, we find ourselves in reactive mode, in those moments where we can't really figure out why we just lost our cool. So all of this is reminding us to pay attention to what memories are rising up through you, to shift those memories that cause us to shift our disposition. And joy and pain are both translated by our mind to the body. But only being aware can we begin to release those stories. It's a beautiful affirmation. If you just take this away, it comes from the organization. I feel and honor every sensation in my body. I feel and honor every sensation in my body. So as we recognize the one thing in the world that is completely ours, as we spoke earlier this month, is our body. Our spirituality recognizes that God is everywhere present. We're so used to hearing that. But that means that God is everywhere present, right here, right now. Our bodies are the conduits between the mystery of life and the magical ways we function in the human body. Our individual consciousness connects to the divine consciousness. We have access then to a wisdom of knowing the direct path. The great news is that the body remembers. Even what we've avoided processing, or we thought we forgot, or we pushed away, all of those hidden emotions, traumas, whatever it might be, anything that has been part of our experience that we have lived, it takes residence up in our precious bodies. And we understand how stress can accumulate and how important it is to pay attention to our stress levels. Many conversations on that in the past. And the health problems that are generated when we neglect. So if we want to really live this year in awe and wonder, we want to pay attention by looking within at what is present, what seems to be hiding in you. So keep asking that question as you listen this morning. So the nature of our body is to respond to what the mind is thinking. So catch yourself in the moments where you find yourself really deep in thought and maybe really busy with thoughts. And observe yourself. Feel like you can stand back and look at yourself. And you might see an image such as that without realizing it, your shoulders are up to your ears, your head is leaning forward, Or if you're watching a thriller on the TV set and you see the music's getting more and more intense, suddenly you're at the edge of your seat, right? You're leaning in with apprehension. And then you have to remind yourself, this is just a movie. Or have you ever flipped through Facebook and seen the moments where you see a cliffhanger? Somebody recently I saw doing the rock climbing on the face of the beautiful mountain El Capitan in Yosemite. And it just made me feel immediately sick and dizzy. I had to turn the phone off because it just was that much of an impression on me. So all of this is to remind you that you have the ability to interrupt the cycles. You can stop the cycles of stress. You can intervene with your body and your mind. The secret, though, is through honoring your breathing and connecting to your divine intelligence. Now, one of the books that we've highlighted this month through the organization is The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. Very intense writing, but if you are interested in how trauma affects your body and the brain chemistries and all of that, it's a deep read. And he makes this statement that mindfulness not only makes it possible to survey our internal landscape with compassion, curiosity, but also actively steer us in the right direction for self-care. So returning to the basic thoughts of Science of Mind, we know through all of the times we've presented talks and taken classes that we are manifesting by the tendency of our thoughts. A reminder then that our bodies are always listening to our minds. Our bodies then become what we think about. And we're continuing to imprint upon ourselves and storing information through our feelings, through our emotions. Now, trauma, as I said, is one of the more challenging ones to deal with. So we're not going to talk a lot about that, but knowing that it gets stored in us, much healing work needs to be repeated and done thoughtfully and consistently in order for the intense, thoughtful work of trauma work to be made manifest for you so that you can live a life that is free of that. But think about this. The trauma work has been happening in the past in such ways that now they've come to really understand that by shaking, that by singing, that by dancing, it's a way to deprogram some of that, some of where it's stuck in your body. So it's the message there is do something energetically to release that from you. If we bypass it or just try to plaster an affirmative Band-Aid over it and just wish it away by a kind thought, things can still fester. You haven't really done the deep work that it takes. What the deep work is, know your body's signals. Know what's going on inside of you. So this is called diving into the somatic felt experiences of our pain, our sorrow, and our trauma. All of it can seem rather terrifying on many levels, but the invitation boils down to just feel your experience. Have access to them instead of resisting or pushing them away. That's what's so crucial here in the lesson today. And that's pretty much the main thread of information that Bessel van der Kolk is sharing with all of his research. It's informing us that what happens if we continually try to numb ourselves. The lives of many trauma survivors came to revolve around bracing against, neutralizing unwanted sensory experience. Most people saw that they became experts at self-numbing. And that shows up by becoming anorexic, the different ways you self-care for your body, morbidly obese, addicted even to exercise and diet plans. All of that in trying to compensate. And there's also at least half of all of the traumatized people, they end up dulling their feelings by trying to narcotize a lot of the way they feel through the alcohol or drugs. And that numbing allows them to cut off the feelings that are causing them any kind of distress. They can also take up gambling or prostitution as another example. But think about your own body now. Those are all the different degrees, but think about how you are when you're subjected to chronic anger or fear. Think about all the tension that leads up to. Pain, different pain in your body, spasms, backache, shoulder, toothaches, migraines, fibromyalgia. The beauty of finding ways to deal with this comes back to the simple practice of paying attention to your heart rate and your breathing. That's the key to your healing, all of our healing. And a lot of research has gone to support the Qigong practices, Tai Chi, and yoga, walking, swimming, anything that has a repetitive platform to it that allows you to continue to breathe deeply and breathe in a rhythm that helps you self-regulate. So this mindfulness is also encouraged here. Observe what is happening. The reason our healing is influenced by this is the person is invited to look deeply back into what is going on within. Focus within instead of being outward focused. Now, I'm most familiar with the practices of yoga through all my training. And the training brought me to the ideas of Samskaras, is what they called it. So, gosh, beyond all of the years of this current science, yoga had it back in the early decades of time when they talked about the Samskaras. They were recognized as the mental impressions, habit patterns that inevitably began to rest in our unconscious fields. And they influence the inner self, and they also affect future behavior. These are the ruts that we've grooved from our brain and various organs as well. The samskara can be buried not just as a neural pathway in the brain, but it can be stuck somewhere in your body. And that's what happens when somebody is doing deep work in yoga and they're holding their pose, they're holding that stretch long enough, and they're watching as ripples can rise to the top of water or little bubbles. They're starting to recognize that they're witnessing something profound changing. All of a sudden, a memory or a story or tears start to flow. So they're being influenced here. They're being influenced by a subconscious bias, maybe a prejudiceness, or something that ultimately had shaped them by an action in the past. So we look at that. We look at those ruts that have been grooved by our brain or in the organs, and we look for what is the habit pattern behind that. What is ultimately shaping you? So personalize this message. We can't escape imprints, but we can work and overcome them. Conscious awareness, self-awareness. One of the famous New Thought teachers for many of us was Dr. Dyer, and he said, you create your thoughts. Your thoughts create your intentions, and your intentions create your reality. We can start by using our higher awareness to image positive samskaras, positive ones of peace, healing, self-love, and openness. Now notice when you react, notice those times. When you're resisting what's going on, or you become suddenly defensive. And see if you can learn in those moments to take a more thoughtful, respectful way. You have the power to shift those patterns and weave a new pattern through the brain. Now, I have witnessed in the yoga as this inquiry unfolds, there is an unfolding, a release of this samskara. It's described, and I love the way this is presented to us. They are like roots that bind us to the past and prevent us from moving forward with new ideas and experiences. We can't get free until we understand what they are and why they are there. So there was an article in one of Yoga Basics, and they described this. The first steps towards breaking free from a samskara is seeing and recognizing it. This means being able to identify that habit pattern, trace it back to its roots of creation. Now that's basically also what a practitioner does. When you come with an issue to them, they spend the time. What is the root of your suffering? What is the cause? These are the effects, but what is the cause? And we begin to understand that we have the power to decide whether or not from this moment forward, once we have a snapshot of what's going on, do we want to still allow that, or do we want to begin to let go and to change? But we can't change what we don't know. So that's why the information here is to really take the time. And here's some suggestions of how you know when you have activated what I'm calling the samskara. You feel an unusually strong emotional, mental, or physical reaction. Think about those times. Also, it's very difficult to let go or to lessen the strong emotional and mental, physical reaction. It's there and you just can't stop chewing on it. You feel stuck in a loop of thought and emotion that doesn't lessen or stop over time. It drives you nuts in the middle of the night. It just comes up and you start, there it is again. This strong reaction is traced back to past experiences. It feels possible to shift your mental focus away from these overwhelming thoughts and feelings, though. When you feel trapped and you see yourself even heading towards a cycle of self-destruction, there is a way to break that and to find relief. So the ideas here, besides the practice of deep breathing and that thoughtful attention to, I am mindful, I am breathing with this, I am relaxing into the moment. We allow this message to completely grasp us today from CSL. This is what they say about this whole message. It's understandably tempting to push things away, to try mental gymnastics and avoid processing feelings. But it's important to remember they are called feelings and not thinkings. That's their words. We feel our experiences, and while we may use our mind to help process them, our bodies are going to hold these imprints until we permit them to be felt and released. Often, all of these retained feelings and sensations, they need to be seen and they need to be felt in order to be able to relax them. The body is sending you an alarm through pain, disease, or another ailment. Learn to be present. Learn to sit with it instead of trying to numb it. Now, healing and learning to feel our feelings is something that we keep repeating again and again to release old stuck emotions and sensations. It won't happen overnight, but with eyes wide open, we start to recognize that, yes, we can heal. But if we refuse to look at it, then we're stuck. Clarissa Pincola Estes, the body remembers, the bones remember, the joints remember, even the little finger remembers. Memory is lodged in pictures and feelings in the cells themselves. Like a sponge filled with water, anywhere the flesh is pressed, wrung, even touched lightly, a memory may flow out in a stream. So sit with your body. On a regular basis, sit quietly. Push nothing away. Beautiful practice to do at the end of the day. You can lie down in a posture of relaxation. You can put your feet up on a chair. You can sit in your recliner. Turn the TV off, get away from your phone, and start to be with yourself. Just notice what feelings and sensations are stirring in you. What's pushing through you? What is informing you? Start to recognize, as Earnest Holmes says, the intelligence in the physical body is a subconscious intelligence. It is working creatively, but within certain fixed limitations. And why is that? A person sent out on an errand and told what to do and knowing only to do what they are told. Our mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, from prayer to performance. This would be a well-balanced existence. This is Earnest Holmes. The spirit fires the soul with energy and understanding. The soul vitalizes the body and animates all that we do. And then Mark Nepo reminding us to stay in this place of curiosity. The task of being fully alive challenges us to stay in the center while still feeling the full range of life on earth. Mark Nepo. So being curious, being willing to pause and to breathe and to be centered. I'm going to have Judy right now be in a space where she can play the piano for you as you do a very brief awareness practice, just letting it wash through you. There's no wrong way to do this, but as you prepare, as you sit there, I want you to feel the full breathing of the body. Feel that as you allow that full breathing, that you are allowing this opportunity to allow the breath in the mind and the body and the heart rate to all begin to slow down. Your sensations are connecting you to the roots of your being. You're feeling your body get heavy. And you sense from the head down, go through the forehead, go through the eyes, go through every detail of your body. And don't rush by anything. Stay in that spaciousness of being. And just notice and name any sensation that you're feeling. Allowing this opportunity now, as you move from the top of your head down through the body, as you recognize your shoulders and the weight that you're carrying in your body and every muscle, as you continue to deeply listen with great love and respect, you keep softening, allowing your attention in your heart and your chest and your solar plexus to just relax. Breathe and feel. Breathe and feel. Be very patient. Your body moves at a slower pace than your mind. You're moving now through all the way down to your feet and ankles, and you take a deep breath as if you could breathe the whole body at once. Just breathing the whole body at once from the tip of your toes all the way up to the very crown of your head, and you feel your body at one. And you listen to what you were able to access in the roots of your being. And you know that you are a spiritual warrior, brave enough to make a difference in your life. So know with me now that every opportunity that we have to share together, to be with our body, to be with our mind, to be with our spirit, is a holy call. And we allow ourselves to unite with that oneness. And the breath is our pathway. It leads us inward, deeper and deeper, until we begin to just settle all that there is, to disconnect from the busy mind, to see what is important on your mind. So I give thanks for the many ways, the wisdom of being in our body, the ways to have self-care continues to invite us back into mindfulness, back into breathing, back into love. And I release this prayer knowing that each and every one of you is blessed by the word of truth. And I say thank you, God, and so it is. Now there was one little thing that I wanted to share with you. I know my time is done, but this story was pretty fascinating. And it was a story from NASA. They did some experimenting with a special kind of camera that could see energy fields in the human body. This energy shows up in the aura around the body, and NASA's interest in the experiment was simply to investigate the effects of space travel on the astronauts in orbit. And experimenting in a hospital, they discovered that when a person is dying, the aura around the body is thinner and gets thinner and thinner until the person dies. The scientists carrying out this investigation in the hospital with his associates were behind a two-way mirror. They could see with their camera another man coming into the room with light coming from his pocket. Then the man took the object from his pocket and did something so that in the camera, the whole room was filled with light. And with their camera, they could no longer see what was happening. So they ran into the room, what was causing so much light to appear in their camera. they discovered that the dying man was being given Holy Communion. Afterwards, with their camera, they could see the aura around him now was much brighter. Although he, in his 50s, this scientist that conducted the experiment decided to become a priest after witnessing that. That's the power of healing, of light, of connecting to the divine. So don't doubt your work. The moment you call in the divine, healing is happening. Blessings to you today. Thank you.
When we thought about Father's Day, we decided on this song would kind of fit the theme in an indirect way.
Plus, it's baseball season,
Plus,
so it's good. Here it goes. Little boy in a baseball hat stands in the field with his ball and bat. Says, I am the greatest player of them all. Puts his bat on his shoulder and he tosses up his ball. And the ball goes up and the ball comes down. Swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground. Now the little boy doesn't say a word. Picks up his ball. He is undeterred. Says, I am the greatest there has ever been. And he grits his teeth and he tries it again. And the ball goes up and the ball comes down. Swings his bat all the way around. The world's so still you can hear the sound. The baseball falls to the ground. Shows no fears, he just holds his eyes and listens to the cheers. The little boy adjusts his hat, picks up his ball, stares at his bat. Says, I am the greatest, the game is on the line, and he gives it his all one last time. And the ball goes up and goes so bright, swings his bat with all his might. The world's so still as still can be, the baseball falls. That's strike three. Now it's supper time, and his papa calls. Little boy starts home with his bat and ball. Says, I am the greatest, that is a fact. But even I didn't know I could pitch like that. He says, I am the greatest, that is understood. Even I didn't know I could pitch that good.
You really touched us. Oh, that was beautiful. All right. And if we have our ushers, if You could prepare for the offertory. Thank you. Thank you. And as we prepare to give our offering, our hearts are filled with love and appreciation, since what's offered here is for our spiritual well-being. We're filled with gratitude, knowing that life stays in balance, for as we give, we receive.
Love is something if you give it away, you give it away, you give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it to have so many, they roll all over the floor. For love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Money's dandy and we like to use it. Love is better if you don't refuse it. It's a treasure and you'll never lose it unless you lock up your door. For love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Oh, love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. So let's go dance till the break of day, and if there's a piper we can pay. So love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Something if you give it away, you give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more.
All right. It's so true, isn't it? It's so true. It's so true. All right, so let's give thanks for the offering. And we do give thanks for the blessed donations received in the offering this morning. I know each dollar supports our spiritual family in many ways as we grow together, pray together, and give thanks for all that this center has been blessed with today and always, and so it is. I'll be by the bell for prayer. If you would like a prayer, we call it spiritual mind treatment. It's our form of affirmative prayer. Be happy to do that with you. And now that we have all the chairs out of the side room, that's now our prayer room again. So we're really happy about that. So we don't have to sit out here by the bell and do that. So anyway, I'll be there. Shirley, you want to join me? Okay, great. Shirley's one of our really good practitioners. So we have a closing song, and then join everyone in the social hall for a wonderful Father's Day. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Here's another baseball song. I guess I'm on a theme this morning.
It's on a theme. It shows everybody's important.
Saturday summers, when I was a kid, we'd run to the schoolyards and here's what we did. We'd pick out the captains, choose up the teams. It was always a measure of my self-esteem. The fastest, the strongest played shortstop and first. The last ones they picked were the worst. I never needed to ask it was sealed. I just took up my place in right field. Play in right field. It's easy, you know. You can be awkward and you can be slow. That's why be lonely and dull. Little leagues never have lefties that pull. I dream of the day they'd hit one my way. They never did. Still I would pray that I'd make a fantastic catch on the run and not lose the ball in the sun. Then I'd awake from this long reverie, pray that the ball never came out to me. Here in right field, it's easy, you know. You can be awkward, you can be slow. That's why I'm here in right field, watching the dandelion grow. Well, off in the distance, the game's dragging on. There's strikes on the batter, some runners have run. I don't know the inning, I've forgotten the score. The whole team is yelling, and I don't know what for. Suddenly everyone's looking at me. My mind has been wandering, what could it be? They point to the sky and I look up at them, and a baseball falls into my glove. Play in right field, it's important, you know. You gotta know how to catch, you gotta know how to throw. That's why I'm here in right field, watching